Rambam, we continue with the laws of blessings, chapter 10. So, halacha number 1, the sages instituted other blessings and many other statements that lack a psicha and a chasima, meaning a beginning and an ending, as an expression of praise and acknowledgement of the Holy One, blessed be He. For example, the blessings of prayer that we've already mentioned. Among these blessings are the following: a person who builds a new house or buys new articles should recite the blessing. Blessed are you, God, our Lord, King of the universe, who granted us life, sustained us, and enabled us to reach this occasion. That's right. So you got a new house, you got new articles of clothing. Today we don't really make the blessing on new articles. I haven't even heard on a house we don't make it. Um, you know, there isn't an appreciation as back in the day, and especially clothing. Today you buy clothing, you know, and buying clothing is not like back in the day. People wore one set of clothing for an entire week. Shabbos, they had a different set of clothing. So, buying something new was something unique, right? Was something special. And therefore, he made a shechianu. Today, we're not, again, we don't really do that. Okay. All right. Among these blessings are the following: a person who builds. Okay, no, yeah, sorry. The blessing is not regardless of whether the person possesses similar articles or not. Okay. Similarly, a person who sees a friend after not seeing him for 30 days or more should recite the blessing Shechianu. Also, we don't do that. Friendships back in the day were meaningful. Today, they don't seem to have the same kind of oomph. So we don't do that either. If he sees him after an interval of 12 months or more, he should recite the blessing, blessed are you, God, who resurrects the dead. Why is it the resurrection of? I can't remember now. Just as a dead person is forgotten after a year's time, so too is a friend who you've not seen for such a period as if you ceased to exist. Yeah, it says after someone passes away, a year after passing, you start forgetting, right? You start forgetting. That's why you have Yisker, so you shouldn't forget. Yisker means to remember people after their passing, right? So we should never forget them. So after, yeah, you make such a blessing. Yeah, Mechayim Mesim. Ah, wow. Person who sees a fruit that grows only in a specific season, he should recite the blessing Shechianu when he sees it for the first time. Okay, number 3, when a person hears favorable tidings, he should recite a blessing. Who is good and does good. If he hears bad tidings, he should recite the blessing, as we do when you tear a piece of clothing by the funeral of one of the 7 people that are close to you that you need to mourn for. So you make the bracha, Baruch Dain HaEmes, blessed are you, God, the true judge. Person obligated to recite the blessing over undesirable occurrences with positive spirit. In the same manner, joyful recites the blessing over desirable occurrences. Psh, right? Wow. Right? This implied for this, you should love the Lord your God with all your might, including the extra dimension of love that we are commanded to express, to acknowledge the praise of God with happiness, even at one's time of difficulty. Wow, powerful. Okay. When a desirable event occurred to a person or he heard favorable tidings, although it appears that this good will ultimately cause one difficulty, should recite the blessing, good, and he does good. Conversely, if a person suffered a difficulty or heard unfavorable tidings, although it appears that this difficulty will ultimately bring him good, he should recite the blessing, Diana Emes. Because right now, I guess you're basing it on right now. You should recite the blessed Diana Emes, the true judge. Blessings are not recited in consideration of future possibilities, but rather on what happens at the present, right? Yeah, if also, who knows what the future, if it will, bring it to that. The following rules govern the recitation of the blessings for abundant rainfall. If one owns a field individual, one should recite the blessing Shechianu, because it got rain. So it's if one owns in partnership with others, one should recite the blessing Ateva Meiti. If one, God who does good and is good and does good. If one does not own a field, one should recite the following blessing. We are thankfully acknowledge you, God, our Lord, for each and every drop that you have caused to descend for us. If our mouths were filled, and so on, they should give thanks and praise and bless your name, our King. Blessed are you, God and Almighty, who is worthy of manifold manifestations and praises. Okay, I have to stop here. All right, thank you, folks.